I'm actually going to continue where you left off, Alisa, so this is very fitting, because the real question is, do we only have like a bit of potential to uncover now, and will this be production ready in 15 to 30 years, as the NVIDIA CEO said originally, until he corrected himself, where I'm tolerant to this fault that he corrected, and other people also immediately said, actually, the potential may be much closer than we think. So I think we had people from Microsoft here earlier that might agree with the quote here that it's more likely in 3 to 5 years. Other people said similar things. As you said, I worked for IBM before. If you look at the roadmap, there's actually quite significant developments in the next 1, 2, 3 years that actually that really underscore this kind of timeline. In Germany, Christian Klein, notable figure that also thinks of a more closer timeline. So, in fact, in your very impressive talk, Elisa, you also showed like one assumption that possibly the devices we have today might not give business advantage. So this we still have to demonstrate that business advantage to really return the money that you invested, that return of invest. That is still really work to do. But what we say at Kipu quite confidently is that the moment where classical and quantum solutions catch up in terms of computational performance is actually now. So why can we say this? What underlies this kind of claim? To answer that, we have to go a bit into the details of what Kipu also does. Basically, Kipu is a software company in quantum, so that's also actually not extremely common, especially also in Europe and Germany. Often people think, okay, let's just wait for the better hardware and see what happens, more or less. But there's like these two sides of, okay, we have the hardware developments on the one side, but actually the algorithmic developments are super important to really unlock the value that the hardware already presents. In fact, I mean, the hardware that we have today, if the use case was to just simulate what this hardware does, even the biggest supercomputer can't simulate it. And that's something to have in mind, but it's not a very interesting use case, right? We don't want to just simulate quantum computers, but just keep in mind that the actual potential of these resources is already quite great, and if we manage to unlock that potential, we possibly don't need to wait for years to really see an advantage here. So in that sense, Kipu runs on real quantum computers, and the main point is that there are new revolutionary algorithms that actually enable people to run on the hardware today. Why is that? Standard quantum algorithms tend to be quite long. So in terms of like the time of the instructions of the circuits, you don't have much time. You only have a few hundred microseconds, maybe millisecond in quantum to do all your operations. And that's what often actually kills you if you just do like a standard quantum approach. Now with Kipu's like technology, you can actually reduce sometimes by even a factor of up to 10,000 algorithmic lengths, also because it's iterative. So you do a part of your circuit. When you measure at the end, this can actually inform the initial state of the next iteration, right? So you do like feedback loops on the quantum circuit. And what that translates to is that for certain cases, we already see that the Kipu's technology can outperform CPU and GPU-based approaches. So in this case, which you can also scan the QR code to see the details of it, in terms of quality, actually there's like, there's like a parity reached between the classical solvers and the quantum approach, which is also something to digest. So I personally worked in quantum computing for 15 years, and I was basically waiting at least to be able to say something like this, that you can now really compete with classical solvers like CBLX in optimization. And in terms of the speed, the actual like run time on the processor itself, it can actually outperform. These solvers. And with that, you can start to do real workflows and also apply the technology in AI. So I don't have time to go into all details of the ansatz now. That's why you can again scan the QR code for these pretty neat new ways of doing quantum machine learning, where you actually combine a quantum convolution with like a standard classical neural network. And on this, on tabular data classification, where basically you want to map features out of, do some feature mapping from like one set of features to a correlated set of features. In the end, you can actually also see improvements here. I see up to like 74% improvements in terms of accuracy. So finally, actually, also like on this quantum machine learning approaches, in this case, interestingly, using the D-Wave hardware, which before people only used for optimization. Now, Kipu turns this around a bit and does optimization on gate-based quantum computers and machine learning on D-Wave architecture. And we do see actually a benefit in this like hybrid workflow. Now this use case is a really nice one because it's very illustrative. We have a little drone flying over gas pipes here. And what it does is like, okay, we want to do some image classification. Are there some leaks in the image to be seen in the images that the drone produces? And indeed, like with the same technique of using quantum convolutions as like a first step of a neural network, we also see that even in this like old field, so to say, of image classification, we do see increased accuracy in this case of around 13%. And that's also like very, very encouraging actually, I think, for the whole community to see that we finally get some kind of tangible benefits. And yeah, relating back to this theme of, okay, will we have business value soon? I think at least we see now that on this algorithmic level and on a level that relates to actual use cases, we have some tangible benefits. So does that immediately translate to you winning millions? We'll see, because of course it also takes always some mapping to the use case. But on this algorithmic level, we immediately see, look, we can actually do something better here with quantum. Similarly, another use case that's already being tackled with a Spanish telecom provider is this routing and wavelengths assignment, which is quite a common problem in the optical networks. And here, comparing with like standard simulated annealing, and okay, then it's comparable to CBLX here, but if you just compare the speed of like to regular simulated annealing, you can actually win up to a factor of 100 here. And similarly, in the like network resilience optimization here, we can already see that we can solve 10% here on 140 qubits, and then basically what this slide also speaks to is like the huge potential that we have, right? So we saw it in other talks as well. Okay, we have of course some current hardware, and give or take how many qubits we'll exactly have this year or next year, depending on the architecture. But if we see now that we have like the first tangible benefits on the algorithmic level, and we also take the growth of the hardware in terms of all these parameters, scale, quality, and speed into account, then we can actually see that even in the next years, where there's like, if you look at the different roadmaps of the hardware providers, there's actually quite an impressive development here, where people start to connect QPUs with each other, or for example, the quantum annealers have more and more qubits, and you start to see real quantum effects on there, and all of this tells you that there's actually huge potential to uncover, not just in 20 years, but also already now. And nobody really has, to my knowledge, approved that we would need a fault-tolerant quantum computer to unlock this real benefit. And in fact, what we see, if you really try hard and have like new ways of doing your algorithms, you can achieve quite remarkable things already on the NISQ devices today, and especially on those to come in the next few years. Now, one more point here. If we make solutions based on our technology, or even if you have your own workflows that you would like to expose somewhere, then one way to do this is also on our Kipu platform, where first of all we already have productized some of these developments that I just talked about, and that's also quite beneficial. So it was mentioned earlier that one of the approaches is, okay, we can work with a PhD student for some time, and there's totally still value on this. Yet, if people, especially people in industry, want to just get their hands on quantum computing now, and again, I agree that people don't have to be a quantum scientist now, because what you can do is basically take some of these like ready-made solutions, functions, you can call it apps if you like, and actually play with that, and all it needs is like some classical input in terms of an optimization problem, or like a standard pipeline in terms of machine learning, and there's free versions of it as well to try. So basically, it's pretty easy to just try out these algorithms that produce the result that I presented. And there's more to it on this platform. There's also like access to quantum hardware and some use cases that were made in a larger community. So basically, this can be a one-stop shop where you can go from some use case formulation all the way to running it on hardware. So this is one way of working with Kipu, and in general, Kipu offers quite a wide range of partnership opportunities, going from the use case development, also doing the mathematical mapping for you in case you don't have it ready already, and the important topic of benchmarking, where I think in general the best benchmark we would get from you, if you have a use case that we can tackle, then we can benchmark it against your previous solutions. That's always the best one. As I mentioned, you can get hardware access, customized services, as in like also generating code that relates to your specific use case, technical reports, and workshops and trainings. So all this is basically what Kipu does. So I think we really want to be a partner for industry, right? So not just, I mean, I think there's obviously still value in research. There's value in doing projects over a couple of years and publicly funded project. But I think where we're really getting to now is that we really want to bring this in the industry, and with all these like offerings that we have, I think you see that, and plus the value that the algorithms present, you see that we're actually not that far anymore from seeing quantum really break through in industry. Yeah, so basically this is the Kipu team. This picture is taken here in Berlin, not too far from here. And there's another office in Karlsruhe, plus one opening in Spain. And this team is really ready to engage with you, to create additional value for you. And we really hope that next year at Bitkom, we can have more talks with our industry partners, like the one that Greiner and Michael will have tomorrow, where you will see how Kipu partners with Schaeffler now. And yeah, next year it's your turn, I would say. Thank you very much.